like we listen to Tool, for example. It's not uncommon for a Tool song to not use the lower two strings. Like they'll use the D and the G string.
Right.
So that's part of like that. Cause like with Tool, it's not uncommon to have a hard time telling if you're listening to the bass or the guitar.
Right.
Right. Cause it's like, because they're kind of existing in the same way and they're kind of interplaying together a lot. So I like that sound, right? So to me, it's more like the sound of an 8-string guitar than a bass guitar, which is very common nowadays. There's lots of bands like Animals as Leaders, Tool. That's all I can think of right now in my head that don't even use that low register a lot of the time. They neglect the low string because it's a lot of mud in that low string. So I like the response to that.
What do they put into that gap then? Is that just kick drum or is that something else, synth or something?
Maybe, or they just maybe they really like a really high low EQ, like a high low shelf maybe. I'm not sure what they do. Gosh. If they do anything, I don't know. So that could be part of the issue, but I've used the guitar elsewhere. I didn't have issues with it. Like that same guitar is used on Drowning in the Sublime. That's the same bass I use in there. Actually, I've recorded most of my bass parts to that bass now because I like the because it feels like I'm playing guitar. So I find myself a little more, less rhythmic and more melodic with it. It begs that for me. Yeah. Whereas if I'm going for like that jarring bass where it's like dun 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 dun, then I'm more likely to pull out the Warwick, and play it on the normal bass guitar. So that could be part of like the issue I was having with that one, but there's not necessarily sound I'm going for on it as much as I just really want the guitars to sound good. Yeah, and I don't want them to take up all the space. Like you want to be able to hear the bass. I want the bass to fill out the guitar.
Yeah, I think I'll get you something that will. I get you something. I'm not going to say anything. And if you want a progress report, I will give you one. But if you want the surprise, I'll leave it for the surprise.
And the only part of the song that I think is really important to me, as far as the way it is you've probably noticed there's a few lead. Like I think there's about 4 guitar solos in the song, and the second, third, and fourth solo, there's violin behind it, the augmented strings accompanying it, trying to mimic the guitar. I want that to be very prominent, that it sounds like the violin and guitar are almost the same instrument.
Right.
Like I don't want them left and right. I don't want them separated. I want them to be like, is that a guitar? Is that a violin? Is it both? What the fuck? And it's neat because that's what I liked about it, because I wanted to bring some compositional feel to a guitar solo. Right. So all I did there, and you'll see it because I gave you the raw stuff.
Yeah, the MIDI. You've copied the MIDI. You've done a MIDI analysis of the audio.
Exactly.
I noticed that. I noticed that. I haven't got down.
So there's lots of garbage in it.
I haven't got down to that yet. I'm very methodical in the way I work, so I haven't got down to that yet. But I saw that was there, and I clocked that. I thought, that'll be interesting when I get down there into the woods of that one. Yeah. No, but I love doing. To be honest, I've never had anybody send me a session before. No, I've never had anybody send me a session before. So this is a dream come true for me. Being able to not have to play any of the instruments, not have to do any of that stuff, just to be given the raw material to work with. I think I could do that all day long. If that was my job,
really,
I would be happy. I'd be a happy bunny, So that's awesome. And mastering, I'm willing to do the mastering for you. I'd love to do that as well because I like that. I like shaping things, shaping sound into something. With mastering, it's not quite the same because you're not making a huge difference, but you're putting the top 2 or 3% onto it, and that Vice mastering plugin is it's amazing. I'm not sure what's going on. Because in Wavelab I was monitoring the LUF level, and it was telling me that the LUFs were pretty standard up at 12.5, which is kind of where I thought I would go, which is a bit louder than like Spotify wants, but fuck Spotify basically. So that's what was. So
Spotify also takes it down a whole decibel too, right? So if you hand in something at 12.5, it's actually 13.5, because they're conscious of the limiting, so they always automatically limit it down. That's why a lot of times my mixes will be at -1 decibel, because I don't want Spotify to add one more level of compression.
Yeah.
To my shit.